Hi everyone, I'm the Fragrance Enjoyer and welcome to another video. In this one we're talking about two Fortnum&Mason exclusives from the house of Roja Parfums. Now these two perfumes are not necessarily that known and I couldn't find too many reviews on these perfumes, plus one of them was recently re-released, so I wanted to cover actually the discontinued version, tell you all about what you need to know about the Fortnum&Mason exclusives. Now before we get into the video, just a quick heads up, my next video, what I will do will include a giveaway to hopefully at that point celebrate 400 subscribers. So if you want to participate in that giveaway, keep an eye out on the next video. But for this one, so this will be a review about two fragrances that are, as I mentioned, a exclusive release for Fortnum&Mason, which is a department store in the UK. Both of these fragrances could not be more different from one another. So, but without further ado, let's cover these two fragrances and hopefully you might find your next purchase from the house of Roja Parfums. Now, as always in my videos, I will tell you a little bit about the fragrance itself. We will talk about the notes, how it smells, when you can actually use it, and which occasions. If you want to learn more, then please stay tuned. Now let's kick the review off by first and foremost comparing the boxes. Now the left box is a 2018 release, the right box is a 2014 release, if I'm not mistaken. So you can tell from the get-go there is a difference in color. So on the left you will see that the left box has a little bit of a graining, kind of a grainy texture, and then the right one is a bit brighter. So this is actually Fortnum&Mason Taif Aoud. Now this has been re-released recently in a 100 ml bottle, which is also the reason why I wanted to review this one, because essentially it is the same juice. The only difference is the size, and it's no longer exclusive to Fortnum&Mason. This is the box. Let me show you again. So this is the box. Pretty standard box, but it looks beautiful. What is not standard though is the cap itself. Now this is the cap that Taif Aoud is also sharing with this bottle, and that makes it very unique and very desirable from a collector's perspective. If you care about that, then keep an eye out on this specific bottle. So very light green cap, kind of reminiscent of the packaging that I've just shown. And then on the front you will see also the standard typical Roja bottle design, Fortnum&Mason. Now let's go ahead and spray this one and get into the notes themselves. So typical Roja sprayer, I will spray it only once because it is discontinued in this form at least. So as you can see, typical Roja sprayer, smells actually good. So what is there to say about this fragrance that hasn't been said before? So this is a floral, oriental, woody, spicy, smoky fragrance. And what that essentially means, it's essentially a rose incense combo. Now, because this came out in 2014, it is a very, I would say, kind of an old school combo when it comes to incense and rose. It is probably something that you have smelled before, especially if you're into rose oud, rose incense fragrances. You have probably tried this one in another shape or form. So this fragrance to me has zero uniqueness in 2023, but I would assume it was quite popular in 2014 when it came out. So what you're getting with this fragrance is the one thing that I have to respect about it, and that is the quality of the Taif rose. It is a beautiful, beautiful rose. It is a very jammy rose, right? So specifically you're getting May rose. So it's a very jammy rose. It jumps at you. It's very playful, it's light, and it's perfectly unisex, I would say. So the mid in this one is essentially a beautiful combination of May rose, black currant, geranium, jasmine, clove, ylang ylang. It is a decent combination. Again, nothing new, so it doesn't really impress me, to be honest, but I think it's very decent. And then as on the bottom, when it comes to the base notes, you're getting oud, frankincense, patchouli, musk, benzoin, labdanum, and vanilla. Now the dry down to me, and this is probably something to keep in mind, that will be quite similar to the dry down that you will experience in Chypre Extraordinaire, and it is also a little bit similar to the dry down you will experience in Diaghilev a little bit. So what I think is also present in the base of this fragrance, might not be listed, it might be just my nose playing tricks, is a little bit of castoreum, so a little bit of the animalic component that they have added to this fragrance. So it's not incense / oud purely. There's also a little bit of the animalic touch that you get on the dry down. Now I've skipped the top notes because to me, The top notes don't really do anything to this fragrance. I think the one thing that you will get in the top notes are essentially aldehydes and bergamot. And from those two top notes, I'm not really getting any bergamot, to be honest. The rose is too punchy and coming at you quite straight, so I'm not getting any bergamot, only the aldehydes, which are there to kind of add additional layer of freshness and sparkly touch, kind of elevate the rose to a more fresher level, even more than it already is. To me, very kind of a okay-ish rose incense combo. I think it's good to have. It's a good collector's item for sure, and it's definitely better to have than the 100 ml. But for me, not something that I would wear personally, so I am struggling with rose these days, so I'm quite picky when it comes to my rose fragrances, and this is definitely not the one that I will be going for most of the time. I think Roja has better rose offerings than this one. I think it's a good quality fragrance. Again, jammy, playful, light rose that is going to essentially persist throughout the life of this fragrance and will only fade and make way for some aromatic components in the base. But except that, it is omnipresent with this smell. I have to give respect to a good rose, especially because this one came out in 2014. So for that release, or for that year, it is definitely a solid release, but just not something that I would personally wear or enjoy in a longer term. So for me, this one is a pass, but again, it's going to be safe and sound in the collection because it is a beautiful item to have in your possession. We are going to talk about the second exclusive from Fortnum&Mason. So this one was actually a complete blind buy for me. Also a semi-recent blind buy as well. And I have essentially decided to do this review in part because there are not too many reviews about this specific fragrance. Now, I am of course talking about FM the Perfume, so Fortnum&Mason the Perfume from obviously Roja Parfums. And this fragrance shares one of the most beautiful bottle designs, but also one of my most loved notes in the actual heart of this fragrance. This fragrance, as I said, is a 2018 release. There are about 38 people on Perfume that own it, so it's not necessarily the most owned fragrance out there. And I think if this one was released in a normal way, so not necessarily be an exclusive and also be available in the stores to be purchased, I think this one will be a definite hit because of the way that it smells. But for now, I think what we might see in the future, simply because this one I assume is not selling well because no one is talking about it honestly or doing any reviews, I think this one in this form might get discontinued as well, in the same way that the Taif Aoud got and then re-released in a different form. But again, I'm just speculating. I'm not sure how long they have the obligation to keep this an exclusive for. Let's see. But for now, what we get with this one, as I take off the lid, is arguably one of the most beautiful bottles that you have from Roja Parfums. So first and foremost, this is the rainbow crystal cap. As you can hopefully see, I know the focus is suboptimal in this lighting, but it is a beautiful cap, so the same cap you're getting with Masque Oud as an example. And then the highlight of the bottle, of course, the front. So the front plaque, as you see, matches actually the design on the box, and it is simply stunning. So this, together with the rest of your Roja bottles in a collection, that looks simply beautiful. And hopefully what you will have seen so far in some of the shots that I've done, this one looks stunning in a much better lighting as well. Now, let's go to one of the most beautiful moments when getting a Roja, and that's taking off the plastic on the front of, again, arguably one of the most beautiful plaques in the Roja repertoire. So let's do that together. So again, as you can see, I have started to peel it from the bottom, so let's enjoy this together. It looks even better now, doesn't it? Stunning. So let's spray this one and then get into the notes itself. So I'm going to be cool. I'm going to spray it on my Roja test strip because I'm already wearing like 3 fragrances, so I don't want to mix them. But as you can see, again, typical Roja fashion, so nothing new for you if you're following this channel or the brand. This one is simply stunning. I love this fragrance so much. So what you're getting on top with this fragrance is essentially bergamot, citron, and lemon. I'm not really getting too much of the lemon. I think it's mostly citron and bergamot. And it's a beautiful, fresh, lively opening. the opening is mixed immediately with the star of the show in this fragrance, and to me that is the peach. Now in the mid you're getting this beautiful, mouth-watering, juicy, fresh peach that is also sweet. It's sweetened with the addition of May Rose, Orange Blossom, Cistus, Jasmine, and Geranium. Now it is a beautiful, beautiful, typical Roja flowery mid with a signature jasmine, but again in this specific instance the focus is on the peach itself. Now the peach is, as I mentioned already, the star of the show in this scent, and it is the note that will be essentially staying for the majority of the life of this scent itself. As this scent starts to dry down, you are going to get a little bit of the typical Roja funkiness or animalic components that you're kind of used to at this point, hopefully, with some of the Roja fragrances. So what I'm getting mostly from the base is benzoin, labdanum, a little bit of the castoreum, vanilla, patchouli, and musk. So this is what stands out to me. I'm not going to list the rest of the notes, it doesn't matter. Maybe, actually, I'm also noticing a little bit of the oak moss now that I smell it again. And this is a beautiful, beautiful dry down because the peach will be retained and present throughout the life of this fragrance. And in the bottom, it is essentially going to mold and kind of transition into this beautiful, gooey, warm, sticky, sweet labdanum mixed with the animalic castoreum, the vanilla, and the musk. So simply gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. Now this can easily be a signature scent fragrance. This is completely unisex, same as the first one. This can be a beautiful signature scent. This can be a wedding fragrance. This can be anything, honestly. Like, this smells so good. This can be anything. The one thing I would say, this is not a spring or summer fragrance. Well, technically, officially, well, I take that back. I think you can actually wear it in the spring if it's a colder spring. I think you can pull this one off because of the bright flowery nature and the opening as well. But in the summer, this is a no-go for me. So this is for fall, winter, and spring. Beautiful scent, beautiful sillage. This one is going to leave behind you, and simply a stunning fragrance if you ask me. And the way it smells, if you want a visual representation, look at the color of this juice, right? So smell, it looks like essentially apricot juice or like peach juice, right? Beautiful, stunning fragrance. It's not the most performing fragrance, and it's the less performing fragrance of these two, that's for sure, because of the softer notes that it carries. However, the base will retain and improve the longevity of this fragrance for a solid while. Now what you're getting with this one is significant scent that is going to include the peach and the flowery aspects. Essentially, I would say for about 6 or 7 hours, which is typical Roja. It is not a strong projector, but it leaves an incredibly intoxicating, mouth-watering sillage behind you. So if you're wearing this one in an office, again, at a wedding, this one will essentially cast a spell on anyone that can smell this on you. Now for me, again, my favorite of these two would be FMD Perfume, simply because I am a huge fan of peach, and on the other side, not as big of a fan of rose oud fragrances, depending on the execution and how they are actually composed. In this one, as I said, Taif Aoud came out in 2014. FMD Perfume came out in 2018, so this one is much more modern and in line with what I'm expecting with Roja. So that has been the review. Thanks a lot for watching, and again, as I mentioned at the start of the video, I will be doing a giveaway with my next review of a fragrance that probably everyone knows and that's quite on the hype train these days, so stay tuned for that as well. I also have the newest Elysium Oil 10s coming in very soon, hopefully next week, and I will do a full comparison between that one, the Parfum Cologne, and the Parfum Pour Homme. So I have all three. If you have any questions, if you own these fragrances, let me know which one is your favorite. So thanks a lot for watching, and I really hope to see you in the 400 subscriber special in the next video. So have a good one.